Hi, everybody. I think I'm live. Let's see what happens. If you could just shout out that you can hear me, that would be great. And then I'll know that I am in fact live. Let's see. Oh, great. You can hear me. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. It's Pam Varner, and we're here for First Friday. It is the month of April. I can't believe it's already April. And I'm really excited because I'm going to share with you one of the new templates from the Elevate box, the spring box that just came out. And so, first of all, I want to show you the template. And I know that this is kind of really hard because it's a big template, but it is this Spinifex Dahlia template. And it is inspired by the Spinifex 10, but we have a 7.5-inch size here in the middle. And then we also have the cutout from that, which 7 3/4, I'm sorry. And we have the cutout, which is 9 3/4. So that's pretty cool. And then you have the 11-inch over on the side. And I'm going to show you how to use that because this is an outside design and we're used to having our Spinifex being an inside design. So we are going to get started. I'm not going to do this template. It's got so much going on. It also has the between the line circles on the bottom. You have a 1/2-inch circle and you have a 1/4-inch circle. We're not going to use that part of the template today. We're going to do that next month. Okay. So let's get started because we have some other fun things that we're going to do today. So I have my little sandwich here already. Let me get this out of the way. And it is marked with 8 crosshairs. And we're going to do 4 of the 7 3/4 and 4 of the 11.5-inch, just so you can see how that works out. So first thing I want to do is pull my thread right in the center. And I like to hold my threads, always hold the threads, and take a couple of anchoring stitches. I usually take about 3. And then we're going to lift the foot and come right in here like that. And we're going to do the north, south, east, and west sides of our Spinifex, of our crosshair. So I'm lining up. Works just like all the Spinifexes. You have the same lines on them that help you line up when you're turning. It has a center line up here. So we're just going to go all the way around the template. Come back to center. And I'm going to do that 4 times. So it's just a little bit bigger than a Spinifex template that would be this size. And then we're going to go this way. Make sure this is lined up. There's a line down here as well. So if you're lined up here and you're lined up here, you're going to be lined up over here as well. So that's one way to work this out when you are working on a quilt and you can't really turn your quilt like you can a sandwich, a small little demo sandwich, or a placemat or a table run or something like that. So, and now we're going to go this way. And these threads are going to get in my way. Today I'm using a size 90 needle, and I have 60 weight thread in my bobbin, and I have 40 weight polyester thread in my needle. So my feed dogs are down. I have my stitch length set to 0. I always do that. I like to do that. Oh, I'm putting on some gloves, and it's because I use gloves when I'm doing a quilt that it's like a big piece that I have to move around, or if it's a template that's a little bit larger than the most of them. So it's just easier for me when I'm doing this part of the template, this part here, if I have gloves on. So that's why I have my gloves on. It's easier for me to hold on to the template. Now, this particular template, this is the center. We're going to stitch out to this side, and then we're going to flip the template. So you have to have stable tape on both sides of your template on this side of it. Okay, so we're going to do the diagonals, and we are going to start. There's a little hook here, there's a line here, and a little hook there. So we're going to go like this, and we are going to stitch and try not to move the template. And then we're going to flip the template. Now, the other way you can line it up is with this edge here. This edge here and this edge down at the bottom should be on your line. So we're going to line this up like that. So we're going to line this up. We're actually going to trim these threads. They've been sewn over a couple of times, but they're getting in my way. Normally I would bury those, but okay. And now we're going to stitch back down to center, and I don't want to stitch over my thumb, so I stop and then I move the template, or then I move my hands. Again, I'm getting close to my finger in the back here, so I take my hands off. If I move my hands while I'm sewing, I am going to move the template. That's a guaranteed with me, so that's why I always stop when I move the template. So here we go. A lot of times when I'm using this template, I will put my fingers in these holes. Like I'll hold it like this. It just, I don't know, feels a little bit more secure. Okay, where was I? We are now going this direction. And no, we're going this way. And I'm off just a little at the bottom, I can tell. Oh, I did go that way. Here we go. And like I said, I'm off just a little bit. I got confused as to where I was stitching. So when I come down here, I'm off just a stitch from the center, so I'm just getting myself back to center. And now I'm going to go this way up here. This is a good time to put my fingers in those holes back here. And then flip and go back. Oh, I moved the template. Did you see it move? I felt it move. And then we're going to go this way. We're almost done. And so this is the basic way to use this template. Now, when I do spinifexes, when I come back into center, oops, I stitch out a couple of stitches. And then I would pull here. And I'm not quite in center, but it makes it easier to bury the threads. If you come out, back out just a couple of stitches from center, you're not going into all of this and trying to get your needle in the center where you've been 16 different times. So Okay. So this is the basics of this template. It's a very nice design. Later on, I'll be sure to get a picture of it. So now, while I was playing around with this, I came up with another idea that I thought was super fun. And I hope it works with this size, but we're going to do something different in just a minute. But this is a line design. Oops, sorry about that. I lost my marking pen. There's just a straight line across here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 11-inch one first. I'm going to pull it center. Okay. And then go back. Okay. Now we're back where we started. And if I go like this and do the 7 3/4 one in the middle, it actually looks really cool. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see. We'll do the big one first, or the small one first. I'm going to grab these threads. Okay, and then come out here, go back and do the 11-inch. Oops. I keep forgetting what I'm doing here. And then back this way to where we started. And you could go back and continue this. You could do this in a border. But I was looking at this and I thought, wow, this kind of looks like a bow, sort of. So you could take your template, this part of it, and do like a ribbon thing coming down here if you were doing this on a block. And then kind of move it a little bit to get a little dimension to it. You could make it thicker. And then when you come back, you kind of have to float back to center, right? Because you've moved your template. It's not on center anymore. So now we're going to do that again on this side. And we don't have to go all the way to the bottom. And then you come up this way. And then we're going to kind of float back up here. Okay, so not my best ribbon, but I think you kind of get the idea of something that you can do. Now, the other thing that came in your box is a new Echo Guide. So we have the half-inch, the inch, and the 3/4 inch Echo Guides, right? We already have these, but there's a new one, and it's 0.625, which is 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to put this on our foot. The way you do this is you always make sure that you can read the numbers. You always want to make sure you can read the numbers. So we're going to slip this around our foot and get it in there. We're going to lift our foot to make sure it's on there tight. Hopefully everything is not too tight that we can't move. And then this is going to make an even smaller size on the inside, which I think will look really fun. Hopefully it'll look really fun. So let's see what happens. So this gives you a whole new size and adds more dimension to what you're doing. And this is where I would pull my threads. Oops. Usually I try not to move the fabric when we do that, but I wasn't as successful as I should have been. So there we have this, and we can do that. So how do you like it so far? I think it's a really fun template. You could use the circles when you came up here and put a circle on the inside or on the outside if you wanted to make this bigger. However you wanted to do that, there's different things you could do with the circle. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to play with the circle later on. So there's that. And then, of course, because it's a spin effects, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can do just part of it and put it in a border. You can do end to end and put it in a border, all sorts of fun things like that. So, but the other thing that came in the box this time, one of my ultimate favorite toys, is this spiral crosshair square. So this is what this looks like. Let's take this off. We don't need this right now. This is what the 8-point spiral crosshair square looks like. Okay. So instead of getting your crosshairs that are straight lines, you're getting curved lines. And this can be really, really fun. So the way that you use it, just like any other crosshair, your Clover Choco marker will fit right in it. See if I can do this with the machine being right here. I don't know. I hope you can see this, but it just goes in there. Let's see, maybe you can see that. No, it's hard to do this so close to the machine, but it works just like any of the other crosshairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I'm like checking to make sure what's in there and what still needs to be done. Okay. Now, if you need to mark center, which I don't need to do in this particular case, what I'm going to play with, but if you need to mark center, then you would just connect these two like this, and then take two others opposite each other and connect those points. And that would give you center if you needed to pull at the center. So move that up there. That's how you would mark center. Connect these two dots and connect these two dots. Okay? But we're going to do something really fun and really different. We're going to use our simple circle, our 2-inch simple circle, and we're going to put a circle in the middle of this, okay? So the way that I line it up is I have my north, south, east, and west. I can't see the one down here because there's tape over it, but I also have the diagonals. And if I line all of those up on these crosshair marks, I am going to get this right in the middle. Everything's lined up. I'm going to pull on one of the lines. And I am going to stitch, oops, I didn't lock my threads. Oh, I always have a problem if I don't do that. So I just want to make sure I do that because it will jam in my bobbin area and I don't want to do that. So let's make sure we get you pulled. There we go. I know some people can just start stitching and I can't. I always have to take a couple of stitches and anchor my threads. Okay, so I'm just stitching the 2-inch simple circle on the inside of the spiral crosshair. And I'm going to stop here. And then because it's an older template, I have the little door, little gate key. Now I'm going to take my Spinifex and I'm going to need my spacing gauge. And instead of trying to come here somewhere, I'm going to put my template. Actually, I want to go this way. An inch away from this particular piece, but I want to go this way. So I'm going to the line that's clockwise from where I'm starting. I'm going to stitch until I get to the circle and then I'm going to stop. And just hang with me because in a minute or so you're going to see where this is going. I'm going to stop on the circle. I started on this reference line. I now have to stitch to this reference line. It's just a couple of stitches. There we go. Now, the next reference line clockwise is this direction. And I'm going to go with my template, the tip of the reference line on the fabric. I'm going an inch away from my template. So all this is doing is making sure that everything is going to come out the same size, the same angle, all of that. Again, I have to travel until I get back to the reference line. Perfect. And now again, an inch away. You could do, you know, a half an inch. You could do, I just thought this came out really nice with doing it an inch away from the line. Oh, I forgot to stitch back to the reference line. Like that didn't look right. Stop on the circle and come back to the line. Now, if you're really afraid of that kind of stitching, you could take your template out and put your simple circle back in and use your simple circle to do that stitch back. I'm comfortable doing backtracking. It took me a really long time to get to that point. So totally understand if that makes you really nervous. And honestly, I'm not doing the best job today. Let's see if we can get a little better here. It's because I'm going too fast. When I go really slow, I can get it right on. Okay. How did that get up there? It's because my starting threads are so long. No one's ever going to accuse me of conserving thread because I'm not. I pull really long tails, the beginning and the end of my projects. So we're getting close to being done here. I think we have 2 more to do. Travel, oops, back. Just a couple more. Go to the one that's clockwise from where you started. You could go the other direction if you wanted to. In fact, I encourage that. I like to have blocks where things are, they look like they're going to the right, and then the next block it looks like it's going to the left. I think that's really fun. Okay. Oh, I got one more to go. Let's get you guys out of the way. Okay. Okay. So then this is where I would take a couple of locking stitches and pull my threads. And then I'm going to show you what this looks like because it's very cool. So, try and get rid of some of these lines a little bit. But that's what it looks like. I think that's really fun. And then I thought, well, what if I don't want anything that big? What if I wanted it smaller? So I'm going to use the Echo Guide, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not going to use our spacing gauge this time. It's a good thing too, because I don't know what I did with it. And we're still going to do the simple circle. So the same thing, I'm going to line up my simple circle. I should have probably, there we go. I'm going to line this up. Now that you've seen how I've done that, it's a little harder to see inside the simple circle. But let's get you lined up here, and you lined up there, and you lined up here and here. And I think I've got it. Only I've got it, but I put there's a little slit in your Echo Guide, and your thread goes right through the slit, and I didn't do that. Let's see, get that under, there we go. And now we're gonna come, there we go. Let's see if I'm still lined up. I think I am. And we're gonna pull here, hold on to this thread. And like I said, this is a little harder to see, but I got it. And there we go. Hold both threads. And we're going to make a smaller circle. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this guy. We're going to take this. We're going to do the same thing, only with the Echo Guide. But the one difference is, right, we're on this line here. We're on this one. We want to go to the next one. But instead of using a spacing gauge, we're just going to use the template, right? So I'm going to put the template right on that line. So if I was going this direction, it would be like that. But it's the one to the clockwise from where you start. Okay, and so the hardest part of this is knowing when you hit the circle. So you really have to look and see when you hit the circle. And there's the circle. So now I have to travel back on the circle to get to this reference line. And then I'm on this reference line, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Only I'm going to, I just dropped my spacing gauge. It's a good thing I'm not using it, huh? And now I'm going to come back here. And I can see through my Echo Guide and I can see this line. So I know I'm on that line. And then I'm on this one, so I have to go here. And I wasn't perfect on my circle. Normally I can get in here and see a little bit better, but it's kind of hard when I don't want to put my head where the camera is. So let me know what you think of this, if this is a fun thing or if it's not a fun thing. Don't tell me if it's not a fun thing. And then come back to this one, turn this way. And I gotta tell you, I actually like the smaller one of this design than I do the large one. I think it looks like it's spinning more, the smaller one. There we go. I'm on this line, so I have to go to, did I skip one? We're gonna find out. I'm on this line, so I have to go, oh, I skipped one. Okay, we're gonna have to come back and do that. So we're gonna come up here and do this one. Oh, I just didn't travel on the circle, that's all. And then come back to here. Go to there. And then this is the last one, I'm pretty sure. I'll count, but I'm pretty sure this is the last one. Let's make sure we have 8. I think we have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. So let me take this off. And your comments disappeared on my screen. Let's see, where was I? I think I was there. And I would bury these, but because it's a demo, I'm just going to cut them. So I like this one better. It looks a little bit more like it's moving. Okay. So now let me show you how to do, remember I talked about like doing edge to edge. I want to show you how you would do that. And I think maybe since we have time, I didn't know how long that was going to take me. I'm going to throw in one of those little circles. So we're going to go like this, draw a line, extend it out here a little bit. I'm going to take the echo guide off. You could do this with the echo guide, but then you'd have to take it off every time you went into the circle because the echo guide doesn't even fit in the circle. So between the line circles, what makes them different than a simple circle has 8 reference lines on it that correspond to the 8 crosshairs of your crosshair square. Okay, so that's what a simple circle does. A between the line circle has lines that go, I guess you would, these are horizontal lines. This helps you line up on your border of your sashing, right? So you could do it on this line here on the sashing and your circle would go right to the seam, or you could mark the center and you have a center line and a center line here, and you also have center lines going vertically. So you have your horizontal lines, and then you have like a little mark of a circle here. So if you were going to the right, you could make your circle, move it to the right, and you would have this reference line here, or this little reference here. Make sure you can see it. This circle right here. You have a half a circle and you line that up on your what you just stitched out. So that's how between the line circles go. But we're going to do this, and we're going to do this way. We're always going to have the, okay, so I'm going to start in the center, and I am going to, see how long I make my tails? I do this when I sew too, not just when I do demos. I have the longest tails. Okay. Now this is the pointy part, so hopefully the circle's going to fit in there. Let's take that out. And then we're going to put, we're going to do the 1/2 inch. Let's see. Boy, this is going to be close. And there's a line right here, and that line, and I'm lining up these 2 lines, which is in the center of the circle, on my reference line. So let's, oh, this is going to be perfect. And then if I wanted a circle on the inside of the other side, I would just go like this, move my template, line up my circle. It's hard. There we go. And then I'm going to make a circle here. And then I'm going to put this guy back in. And remember, when we are going along a line, we need to have two rows, two lines of stitching on either the top or the bottom. So you alternate. So this time we're going to go on the top, and we're going to stitch a time and a half, or a shape and a half. And now we want to put a circle in. This would be a really fun border treatment. Now, when you do these little small circles, you have to stitch really close together. Otherwise, you're not going to get a circle. So the distance between your stitches has to be closer than what I normally stitch at. I don't know what you stitch at. Some people stitch really tight stitches. I don't. So when I do these little tiny circles, I have to stitch them so that the stitches are really tight. Okay, and then we're going to go like this. Now, the last time we stitched double on the top, so this time we're going to stitch double on the bottom. Okay. All right, now we have to put in the little circle, and then we're going to run out of room. But you would, so remember there's a line here on the top of this, like this is the way the circle would normally stitch out. And we could do it that way. We could use those lines. Let's see, the center over here is this line and that line. So you could do it like that if you wanted to. And then clip those off. Take a couple of stitches here so we can just cut these off. All right. There we go. So I guess I should have put one up here too, but I didn't. So there's that. And that makes a really fun border print. The other thing that I've done, and oh, you know what? I can just do this here. Use this piece here. Get my chocolate liner. Okay, I'm turning this into a triangle. So it could be a setting triangle. It could be a corner square triangle. It could be a half square triangle. It's probably not perfect. It's not a perfect square, but that's all right. It's still going to work. And what I've done here is I'm going to pull at one of the points in the triangle. And now, if I go like this triangle is too small, right, for this particular template. And now I need a spacing gauge. But if I move it down this way, right, and come here and measure a 1/4 inch away from this point here, that looks like it's going to go above the line, and I don't want that. So I'm going to come here and put that point on it. There we go. So I've put the hook around the pointier part, which is the center of the spinifex, the way that this is designed. And then I'm just going to make sure I'm going to land in the corner. That's what I want to do, is I want to get in the corner. Same thing. Make sure that I'm a 1/4 inch away from the corner. And then go like this. Oh, look at this. I don't have enough room. There's no way I'm going to get down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch to here, like what kind of the center. I'm going to stitch to what would be kind of the center. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to flip my template and see if I can get that same kind of curve back to here, which I can. Now, like I said, that wasn't a square circle. That was kind of a rectangle, or triangle was kind of a rectangle. But you get the idea of how you can do that kind of design. You could also use this for, what's that design called? I forget what it's called, where you travel along and you do different, you do this shape, a circle shape around every intersection. Apple peel. It's called an apple peel, or lemon peel. No, I think it's called a lemon peel. So anyway, I am going to check for questions, because I thought this was going to take a little longer. And I don't see any questions. Yeah, the echo guides are really fun to play with all your templates, all of your templates. And this is a new size, which I think is really fun. It gives you all kinds of options, especially with this particular template. Now, you can't use it on the outside, right? Because it's not going to fit in the hook here. But you can do it here. And this also would make it just a nice border treatment if you just stitched along here, move the template, and just went like little loopies all the way across in your sashing or your border. That would work very nicely. Throw a circle in here and there if you wanted to. Nice way to get a border done quickly is to do this type without the little circles. This goes really fast on a border, and you can get your borders done in no time at all. So anyway, that's what I have. Next month, we're going to play with the simple circles and the spiral crosshair. And I have a project next month that we're going to do. So I want to thank you all for being here. And if you have any questions, this is the time to post them right now, so I can see them. And if you're on Facebook, I don't think I can see questions on Facebook, but I'm gonna try. You are welcome. I love sharing. So, oops, wrong. I'm just gonna check Facebook. I don't think, for some reason, I'm not even sure it went to Facebook. There was a connection problem when I signed on. So let me just, oh, nope, yep, that's not it. It didn't go to Facebook. So I'm sorry if you couldn't find us, but let's see. This doesn't make sense. Hold on. Oh, wait, maybe it did go to Facebook. Nope, I don't think it did. No, it didn't go to Facebook. And so I will talk to Stacy about getting it posted on Facebook. And I will post pictures of those designs that I made, not this particular one, but the ones that I made with the spiral crosshair. So, alrighty. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. It is a holiday. And we will see you next month, which I believe is May 1st. So, have a great day. Be safe. And thanks for being here.
Spring is here, and so are a ton of Sew Steady projects. This season, we're quilting grand leaves, dahlias, hexagons, big T quilts. We're making backpacks. We're making snap clutch mini quilts, rag quilts, and even a cutlery star.
You'll learn ruler work, embroidery in the hoop, paper piecing, panel quilting from our amazing educators like Kathy and Mindy and Pam and Nan and Michelle and Gary, Donnell, Angie, Deb, Lisa, Ann, and so many more.
Well, that's a lot of educators.
That is a lot of educators.
Join us live every week as we turn panels, rulers, and embroidered designs into beautiful finished projects.
So grab your fabric, thread, your machine, and let's quilt something amazing together.
Sew Steady spring quilts classes are here.
We'll see you there.
We can't wait.